And yes, hello everybody. We are back on deck in this live episode here, talking today about systemization. And I think it's again one of those excellent topics as we are coming towards the end of a year and moving into a new year with new opportunities and new chances to grow and scale up our businesses. And so I hope everybody can hear me well and see me well. We're obviously doing this all live here. And I'm really excited about this here. I'm playing around with some new systems. Yes, indeed. And I want to just break the ice with it today, exactly now, as we are talking about systemization. So why would we first look at systemization? Well, just think about it. There is so many things that we are doing every single day, every single week, every single month. And we have more to do than we actually might have time for. And so from a time management perspective in itself, it is really worthwhile to look at like how can systems free us up, not just ourselves, but also our people, so that all of us become more productive, whereby we are using our time better for more high value tasks and are able to also use the systems to kind of ease out, let's say, all of the challenges that we sometimes also might face in terms of manual labor, for example, sometimes comes with errors and mistakes, and sometimes really costly mistakes. And so we want to avoid having these all together. And again, good systems that are set up well and properly help us to eliminate the risks and the costly mistakes that sometimes manual work actually brings along. The second thing is, again, in terms of the why, is that you want to just not just do all of the things. You just want to do the things that, first of all, are really important to be done, that are high value, and also that are aligned with your very skill sets, and perhaps also the things that you really are passionate about. And so, to give you an example, one of my friends, he's a very celebrity. He's much of a celebrity, trusted and world-renowned author and speaker on the global scene. His name is Dr. John DeMartini. He says that he only does 4 things, and 4 things that he actually only wants to do every single day. And it is researching, teaching, traveling, and there was one other, and I kind of forgot about it. But let's just say presenting, of course. And those are the 4 things he only does. And all of the other things are pretty much, let's say, either systemized or outsourced or delegated. And again, we now want to really talk about like how systemizing can help here. So let me just have a look at my little cheat sheet here. I first also want to particularly address 2 people here that, 2 particular type of people that might be challenged by systems. There's certain people that have a natural propensity to look for systems and processes and kind of really automate it, put them on autopilot, so to speak. And they are typically your high C's, highly analytical people, or the very steady people that really like, that are the relators in the world. And if you ever have seen DISC, for example, they would be the blues and the greens, respectively. But then you got the other people, and those other people are the reds and the yellows, respectively, the directors being high D, or the high I's being the influencers in yellow. And those people, they just love doing things without necessarily having put the time and effort into creating the right systems and processes that they can put on autopilot. And so if you are caught up a little bit in always launching yourself into action, this session is really dedicated to you. Again, most of the time, it will be your high D's and your high I's. So systemization, once again, it's about really you leveraging technology, for example, and also other people, leveraging them for your advantage so that you can focus more on what really matters and what you're really good at, rather than try to do everything that you not always have the time for and even the patience for, and sometimes even where you don't even have the passion for. So if you can kind of free that all up, that again is really what the topic of the day is about. So a lot of manual processes can be automated, and software is very helpful. Like, for example, today now, I'm using a new streaming software that I haven't tried forever, But I'm not new to streaming as such. Facebook Lives and YouTube Lives and the likes, I have done them already before. But now it's actually also, again, using systems to kind of really help to increase the impact, the reach, reduce some of the errors, less costly mistakes, and just also make it look more pretty and more professional and slick and all of that sort of stuff. So there's reasons why we are doing all this. And so the next thing that I want to share with you is that less valuable people tasks can always be outsourced or delegated. And again, it's the end of the year, my friends. And think again about like, what are those tasks that are for you in your book tedious, that are, repetitive, boring jobs that have to be done, but you don't necessarily have the patience or the desire to do them, but you also want them to be attended to anyway. And so you cannot be good at everything, at social media, at advertising, at, being the practitioner in your field, being a leader to your team, all this sort of stuff. There's so many different things that we could do, but not all of it you want to do, and you want to do really well. So therefore, let's just now find ways to outsource and delegate. And that way you can really focus your time more on high value tasks. So as we are coming to the end of the year, the question is, what sort of tasks could, for example, a virtual assistant help you with, or a PA? What could they help you with? What are, let's say, create a little bit of a list maybe, and just write them down. All the very tasks that are repeatedly, and just see like how much time they each of them already take for you on a weekly basis. And then look for ways to kind of, amalgamate that in, for example, an assistant of some kind, whether they are onshore or offshore. We've got these beautiful opportunities to even involve people for $20 or so an hour, and help them to free up our time so that we can focus on more important, pressing matters instead. So that is that pretty much from the virtual assistance point of view, or your assistants over here. The second thing then is, again, your systemization. Yesterday I spoke with one of my business coaching clients, and we just again touched also on systems. And one of them is, of course, well, do you have a good system that allows you to not only look at your bookkeeping, but for example, your financials, where you have good financial dashboards and where you have reports that you can easily have access to, and where people can just log in easily on the cloud, or even just by using the phone, right? I have, for example, all of my systems are pretty much set up, and those systems might, for example, be my payment gateways for online payments. It might be my systems for my cloud-based accounting software. I have another software for my training and coaching portal. And so all of these softwares, they are all systems. But of course, the systems are only as good for the processes and the tasks that you kind of automate within it. And so you might even already have your Xero or your MyOp for your accounting. But have you set up the right things? Have you, for example, created the products and the services? Have you got your inventory linked to it? Have you, for example, automated formulas to actually create, to really make the reconciling much easier? Have you set up your product that you can easily track how much of them you are moving, rather than just bill them every single time? It's the nuances that really drive the value here. That's my point here. So it's important that you set these things up, systemize it. You set it up once, and then you set it and forget it. And that's the value, of course. It just helps to make things easier. It frees up costly mistakes, mitigates the risk, and it allows you to run a more professional, slick, and well-oiled machine. And so that's pretty much it. From then, all the other systems, again, you might have the little things already that also make a big difference, which is like, how do you systemize your week? What sort of activities do you do at what chunks of time that you have blocked out well in advance, so that there's repetition and consistency, so that you don't always have to think about what you're doing when. No, it's pretty much, it's the same activities that you do day in, day out, there and then. The other thing is, again, how do you systemize your team? And again, you need your dashboards. It's a topic that we touched on yesterday. Like, how do you visualize your goals and your KPIs and your objectives and your big, hairy, audacious goals? All of these, it's part of your system. So as you are coming towards the end of a year and moving into a new one, I highly recommend you to take some time, either by yourself or with your executive team or with your business partner or even with your business coach, to actually work through how can you improve your systems in the year ahead? How can you leverage technology and free up more time of you and your people so that you can work on more high value tasks and therefore become more profitable and more productive as a team or as a sole operator? All right, systemizations are the key. If you do a lot of things in spreadsheets, guess what? There's a high chance that you are a perfect example, so to speak, to look at how systems can free you up and make you more profitable and productive. Anyway, this was me. I always like to go for only like 15 minutes or so. Any thoughts or questions, you guys are always very welcome to post them in the chat box here or below the video. I will be also sharing with you what I'm going to be covering tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will be touching on specifically financials and cash flow. And again, we're coming to the end of the year. You want to make sure that you know what you're measuring and that what you're measuring is accurate. And also, most importantly, that what you're doing is profitable, that you're making money in your business, that you are finding ways to actually make even more in the year ahead without necessarily working harder, just being smarter and working more productively. So tomorrow we'll talk about financials. I always appreciate feedback, so let me know if you like this with a big thumbs up. Again, thoughts or questions are always welcome. And again, tomorrow we'll be back here with the financial side of things at 12 o'clock South Australian time, that is ACDT, for 15 minutes or so. And if you were to want a one-on-one conversation with me to look at like how business coaching might help you with setting all of this up in the back end so that you can start the year off strongly, I'll make sure that there's a link below for you to book into a discovery session with me. All right, look forward to seeing you again, guys. I wish you a wonderful day ahead, and thank you for joining me here. My name is Bram.